everybody? Welcome back once again. And friends and family. Hopefully, y'all had a nice turkey day, Thanksgiving. Hopefully, everything's been good. Everything's going kosher and everything else. Hopefully, everybody's doing well and y'all are staying safe. Especially at times like this, we all have to be safe somewhere. So make sure you get your drink and snacks. I got mine. This way I don't get sore throat doing a 2 mile an hour video. I mean a 2 hour video. But anyway, I'm gonna let everybody get in, and then we're gonna get the party started. Yep, I'm telling them right now, so that way they can see I'm live. So everybody keeps asking me about this. I thought it'd be different. Instead of having my whole face covered, I just have down here covered. You know, I just figured it'd be something different. But I guess it is. So. And by the way, if this is your first time watching the video, please subscribe. Put a like on it. Would be much appreciated. Help us get out there on YouTube, since YouTube doesn't push our videos out so well unless a lot of people start subscribing and watching the videos from beginning to end. That would help us out tremendously. Even though we're not getting paid right now from YouTube, it helps. Helps us getting to our goals. Working slowly but surely up to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 3,500 watch hours. Would be nice to get to 4,000 watch hours. And 1,000 subscribers. And a ton of thumbs ups and stuff like that. Okay, without further ado, we'll let everybody drop in, and when they drop in, they'll see what we got cooking. So let's go ahead and go to the action screen, and you guys can see what I got going. Okay, right here. This is from Video Cards. Intel Arc B580/570 and AMD Navi 44 may reportedly win the RTX 4060 Ti in synthetic benchmarks. I was curious about that to find out what they had cooking. Smaller next generation GPU from Intel, and AMD can beat the RTX 4060 Ti by points. Well, let's find out. It says, something's been going on in my eyes. Hello, MTBK. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. It says, when it comes to the next gen graphics, everyone is asked the same questions. How fast is it? How many cores does it have? Does it have more than 8 gigabytes of VRAM? How much does it cost? Unfortunately, we don't have all the answers to these questions. And frankly, sometimes these questions may not be answered until review embargo lifts. However, there are people in the industry with knowledge that may leave some hints. Golden Pig Upgrade claims that the next generation Intel Arc B580/B570 and AMD Navi 44 are both compatible of competing with the RTX 4060 Ti graphics card in terms of performance in synthetic benchmarks. This, of course, does not mean that they will beat the Nvidia graphics card in scenarios, including games. But from what Golden Pig says right here, B580/570 Navi 44 is right. Small manufacturers have to focus on the mid to low end. Frederick Wazer says, Master Zoo Bio, can these two beat 4060 Ti? Golden Pig says, win by running points. So 4060 Ti is no high-end model. It is PCIe 4.0 X8, 120-bit memory card. Sometimes many of us have considered the low-end option a few years ago, but price-wise to performance, these cards now occupy the mid-range segment, something that we all agree that is affordable. Naturally, AMD and Intel are saying to be focused on the same segment. This is where the money's made by selling volumes, and the more competition, the better for consumers. Judging from what Golden Pig said, smaller GPUs makers should focus on the market, this market specifically. Thus far, we have only learned that the B580/570 are launching in mid-December, and AMD's RX 8600 XT, or whatever card they call the Navi 44, is not expected sooner than early 2025. Meanwhile, Nvidia is rumored to be launching the RTX 5060 around March, but this hasn't been confirmed either. So, taking that into consideration, that kind of makes me wonder if they're going to do a 5060 or a 5060 Ti. There hasn't been much talk about it, not unless I'm wrong about it. I'm sure you guys will correct me in the comments below or in the live chat, and we can go from there. But anyway, let's get to the juice of it all. And I was messing around looking at some sites. Let's go back to the action screen. And I was messing on this site right here, PC Builds. I found that when I was playing it, when I was searching on the phone a couple days ago. I announced it on Graphics Card Nightmares. I thought it was a little bit of an interesting site, and this is what, you can do, is basically it has it's a FPS calculator, a bottleneck calculator, and it's a game bottleneck calculator. So it gives you 3 different calculators. I put in my processor with the graphics card I'm using. I put Final Fantasy 15, I guess that is. And I put 1080p. Now I'm going to move this over to 1440. I'm going to do 1440 and see what it's going to look like with me using my setup with the same game but a different monitor, just to get an idea. So I'll press to calculate. And let's see right here. It says my 5700X, the 4070 Final Fantasy 1440p at low settings is going to be 108 FPS. up to 137 FPS on low. So average around 120.4 FPS. On medium settings, it's looking at 98.6 FPS to 124.7 FPS with an average of 109.5 FPS. That's on medium. Now on high, looks like it'll be around 89.6 FPS up to 113.4 FPS on an average of 99.5 FPS. So on an average, I should get close to 100 FPS on the game. So on ultra settings, it should achieve 74.7 FPS up to 94.5 FPS with an average of 82.9 FPS. You know, could be the CPU that could be my problem, that it's getting low FPS. I kind of have my differences on that, but there's a but to this. I went and I plugged in the 9800 X3D. So, and going down here to the bottom, now let's plug it in at 1440p. We'll get back to the 1080p. Let's plug it in at 1440p. Yes, we know. I'm not disabling no, I'm not disabling that. Forget that. Okay, now, looking at the difference on the low settings, gives me 119.8 FPS up to 151.2 FPS on an average of 131 FPS. Looking over here, going to here, 133.1 FPS on low. Going back to the 5700, 120.4. So, let's get the calculator out. Got a 120.4 minus 133.1. So you're looking at going from a 5700X up to a 9800 X3D, minimal of 12.7. Wow. That's not bad. On an average, that's not bad. So going up that far gives me a good idea on low what it's going to do. So going up the ladder, it's going to be even less. But I'm running this at 1440p. I just wanted to see at 1440p what it was going to actually do for me. Now let's say I want to do the 9800 X3D. We all see the top right here. It says, what it does down here. So it goes from an 82.5 FPS up to 151 FPS. Before we get back from the 1440p, we're going to move over. This is the Intel Ultra 9 285K. Now let's go down to the bottom. It's the Ultra 9 285K. So, and doing this at 1440p. Right here. And recalculate it. So, looking at the average from this, given at 1440p, 91.9 FPS up to 172.1 FPS. Now going back to the 9800 X3D, this is saying 82.5 FPS to 151.2 FPS. So the difference between this and this is pretty substantial. So we'll clear this out. We'll go 151.2 minus 172.1. 172.1. So between the 5700X and the 9800X3D is almost let's say about a 14% difference. And the difference between the 9800X3D and the 285K is about 21% difference. That's what this is saying. I know it's not accurate, but it gives me an idea of which one's going to be a better way to go. From what this is saying, that the 285K gets better FPS than the 9800X3D. Now, I know that's not accurate, but for said game, and they're all the same games, you know, they're all the Final Fantasy right here. They're all Final Fantasy game. That the 285K is supposed to be better than the 9800X3D or the 5700X. Y'all can leave your input on this because this has got me wondering. I know it's not, I know FPS sites like this are not going to be accurate, but this is either it's misleading or it's not. Okay. To me, I know what I've seen on other benchmarks with other games, not this one, but other games, a little bit different story. That the 9800X3D came on top of a lot of the other games. So, knowing that, let's go down to the calculator, switch the game. On the 9800X3D, let's say Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay. A lot of people play that. Yes, we know. That pop-up blocker thing comes up because I ain't undoing my pop-up blocker. So, does this feel accurate that it's on low? It's at 98.5 FPS on low? Or is it not? I know that's like 2% difference, bro. I meant it like in a different way. Every 10's like, to me, is like 1%. So I meant about 2%. 2.1%, somewhere in there. Just in my mind, that's what I feel it is about that. But even though I know the 9800X3D is faster, this is just an average idea. You know, I know that the 285K is slower, but I was wondering if it was slower with the graphics card, which I see between, let's switch this up now. Let's see. Let's switch this up and see. So 90.2 FPS on low settings, 98.5 FPS on low settings at 1440p. This calculator seems like it's not working. Because I know Red Dead Redemption 2 gets higher than 98.5 FPS. That's even on high settings and ultra settings at 1440p. I know that. So this is not real testing, but just estimates. I take it with a grain of salt. Yeah. I should have said that. Just take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, it's just more or less like giving you an idea of maybe what stock potentials are without the overclocking, just basically stock potentials. That's what it kind of makes me feel like it's at stock potentials. Because it doesn't ask you what kind of motherboard you're using. It doesn't ask you what kind of system RAM you're using and stuff like that in order to come up with that answer. There are other things that have to be calculated in too in order to give you an actual. So I think with it only asking 2 questions in one game, the calculator is not going to calculate what you think. But it gets you closer to the idea of what it can do. So I know the 9800X3D is a great processor. The 285K I'm not knocking, but they said they're going to be fixing. They're going to be, let me take you guys back to the main screen. Okay. 285K, they say they're going to be fixing to make it more fast and, to give it a little bit more pickup. But overall, even if they do that, the 285K is still not going to outmatch the 9800X3D. We know that. I wanted to see the factor of my 5700X on other games to give me an idea of what it can reach up to. Just the reach up to. And I already know what it can reach up to in some of the games. Well, actually, about maybe half the games, I can get between 100 and 200 FPS. The other half, I'll get in between 80 and 100 FPS. So I already know the potentials. I wanted to see what this calculator was going to show me on some of the games. Since there's some games I don't have, I wanted to get a better idea of what it would be like having the game instead of me, and this is the whole idea too. It's not so much building your PC, it's so much when you go to buy a game, you want to make sure that you have enough to play the game. You have enough FPS, you have enough PC, and you know it's not going to be all stressed out where you're playing the game, you're having stutters and everything else. So it plays a good effect like that. But as far as I see, let's go back to it. It's not a bad sight, you know. I mean, it's not a bad sight at all. At least I know what my processor can do. It gives me the processor FPS. It gives me the graphics card FPS. You know, they got a calibration button to where you can calibrate it. That's probably what I need to do, is calibrate it, or just click I don't know. Or figure out how this works. So basically, they got a bottleneck calculator. If you want to do that, yes, we know. Since mine's 1080p, we'll process the calculation. So, tells me that I got 16.8 with 1080p. Processor might become a bottleneck for the graphics card performance, while the graphics card is capable of handling intensive graphical workloads. The processor's processing power may not be sufficient to fully utilize the graphics card potential. This imbalance could restrict system overall performance, leading to slower processing and potentially reducing graphics quality. So, then they give you a chart of the calculations, which I think is pretty cool. So, you know, like you got 1440p on this graphics card with this processor. On an average, it looks like 89.5 FPS, what they calculate. So, 4K, it looks like it's 59.7 FPS. At 5K, it looks like it's 40.2 FPS. Wow. At 6K, 32 FPS. At 6K. Now let's go down to 8K. 22.8 FPS, and 12K 20. Wow, 12K did better, 27.8 FPS. Wow, I guess so. So let's see. Here at a higher resolution, the CPU bottleneck will decrease, and the FPS as well. Yeah, I can see that. I've tested before on that. To where, you know, I can go up to, let's say, let's get to the bottom of things. Right here. So if I change this to like 1440p QHD and calculate, yes, I know, it goes down to 6.7. I know that. And then go all the way down to the bottom. Go to 4K. See. UHD 1. 4K. And if you go down, and there's no bottleneck. So at 4K, there's no bottleneck. So, yeah, I know. In this example, 12K is less pixels than the 4320p, which is why it gives more frames per second. The ratio is correct. Yep. So at 4K, it does not look bad. Especially with what I have here. So CPU intense task. So at 4K, I guess I'm okay. From what this is saying. I'm kind of surprised. That I'm at 0 when it's at 4K. So does that mean I should get a 4K monitor? Maybe. Instead of running 1080p? Possibly. Will I get good FPS at 4K? No. It'll be cut down to like less than 100, but over 60 in some instance, depending on what game I play. Long as it doesn't go below, at 4K, 30 below, let's see, 4K doesn't go below 30 FPS and stays up above it, I should be okay. Because you got to remember the aspects have changed. Question is, how much value can you get from this? The number of PC parts listed is okay. The rest seems like an insult to gamers most of the time. But regular reviews can be bad as well. Well, the thing is this. Number one, I'm doing it right in front of everybody, and I'm doing it live. So that way they can see no hidden BS. So if it insults other reviewers, then that's their problem, not mine. I say that for the simple fact they do things in their own way. I do things in mine. When I go look around on these sites to see if this is going to be a good enough match for what I got now that's going to last for now to years to come, that's what I'm checking for. I'm checking any possibility, any possibility that I could have problems from now until the near future. So instead of having problems in the near future when prices go through the roof, I could resolve it. I could resolve it here and now to see and get everything at the lowest price I can before the future happens and prices go outrageously crazy. Like now you could probably get a monitor for $150, a 4K monitor for $150, but turns around, let's say 4 years later, you're paying $500 for it. 4K's monitors first come out, you're paying $2,000. So, in order for me to know what I need to become successful with my PC is having the right pieces in line. So if my processor is working fine, if my graphics card is working fine, my motherboard's working fine, my system RAM's working fine, my power supply is working fine, and my AIO cooler's working fine, and all my case fans are working fine, then I shouldn't need to upgrade for at least a couple more years. But since I'm running at 1080p, I want to see if running at 1080p is becoming a major bottleneck. And from what this is saying, let's go back down into the beginning of time. Running at 1080p. So let's get back to it. Yes, I know. I'm right here. 16.8% bottlenecked at 1080p. So, what's going to bring up my FPS from this point? Actually, nothing. As this is 1080p. Going to 1440p, I'm going to lose FPS, but I'm going to gain quality. See, you got to give one to get another. You lose quality, or you lose quality to get more FPS. You gain quality to lose FPS. You can't have one without the other. So, that's how you have to look at it. I mean, right now, me running at 1080p, 16.8% bottlenecked. I mean, I can resolve that. I can change my monitor. That's all this is telling me. I need to change my monitor, go up in, the picture quality. So, as long as I use my GPU for recording and live streams, I have no problem with a CPU bottleneck. Which I do agree. I do. But see, the thing is, when I'm making videos and everything else, people are like, when are you going to be done with 1080p? Everybody is sitting on 1440p and 4K. People want to see testing with 1440p. They want to see it testing with 4K. They want to know, is it going to be good enough for their benefit? And you have to understand that. When you make a video, is it going to be good enough for their benefit to make a similar PC like mine? That's what they want to know. Is it going to be beneficial to them to do something like this? To upgrade what I need to upgrade? Some people prefer using the processor for calculating the live stream encoding. I know that, but I'm on the NVENC coder, so that's if they're doing it at 254 or something like that, 254K or something like that. So they would have no issue with a bottleneck because by the load on the graphics card. Well, if they're using their CPU for recording, that means their GPU would have absolutely no load on it whatsoever. The CPU would have a load on it, but not the GPU. Because everything's going through the CPU as a filter. So, some people run it like that. When I live stream, unless I'm using Nvidia's program, again, everything's going through my processor. No matter if I change it on, what do you call it? My brain's like fried. OBS. For some reason, unless there's a glitch in OBS, I should be on the NVENC encoding. Some reason, it doesn't work like that. So I have to figure that out to make it go through my graphics card. But for right now, it's been working all this time like this, so even if it's going through my processor, who cares? So, while the CPU and GPU load can differ much from second to second in a game, using moderate settings and limit the FPS artificially is a popular approach for most gamers. Oh, I know. But it comes again. It's either you want FPS or you want quality. If you want quality, you're going to give up FPS. And if you want FPS, you're going to give up quality. So it's the same argument everybody has. You can't have both. That's the problem with graphics cards. You can't have both. It's either one or the other. So yeah, it comes to that point. I mean, we can go on and on all day long about it, you know, but it does. It comes down to that point. What do you want? Do you want more FPS or do you want more quality? If you want the games to look good, no matter what you do, you want the games to look prompt and proper and everything else, then you're going to lose FPS. So, but like I tell everybody, between 60 and 100 FPS is not a bad thing. If you think you need like 3 to 5 to 7, 900, 1,000 FPS, more you go up in FPS, the more quality you're going to lose. So, try spelling NVEC. Yeah, I know. I spelled it wrong. Sometimes I can't remember the name. And thanks for quoting that out. I give up in-game quality and FPS to have better quality recording and live streams. Well, the only way that I'm going to change the quality of my videos is if I connect Nvidia coders to OBS. For some reason, it should be working now. It should be working when I'm live streaming. But when you're recording a video, it doesn't seem like it wants to. But live streaming, it does. As I'm seeing right now, I'm only using 7% on my GPU and 13% on my CPU. So I can see all that in front of me. So that tells me that my live streaming is being more used by the CPU than it is the GPU. Even though I got the settings for, for it to record right off the graphics card, it just doesn't seem like that. So that's something I've had to figure out for last month. And I got to put it all together. It's going to take time. I know some people just say, well, why don't you just record off of the program for Nvidia? Well, maybe if they make it look like OBS, maybe I can, start using theirs and probably get better everything. But they don't have enough stuff for you to make your videos look good on their programming. They need to improve that before I decide to jump from OBS to Nvidia. Simple as that. So But yeah, 16.8% is not a bad thing. This is just games. When I was going through that calculator, it was nothing but games. It had nothing to do with content creating. Nothing to do with it. That's a whole different ball game. Now, if you go to use like the 9800X3D for content creating, everybody's telling me it's not a good thing to use your 9800X3D for content creating. Everybody knows that X processors do better at content creating than X3D processors. We all know this. So that's the reason why I use an X processor and not an X3D processor. Is because the X processors, they'll give you a balance of both worlds. So if that's what you're looking for, a balance of both worlds, then stick with an X processor. They're not bad. They're pretty good. And when I go to upgrade this PC, I'll probably go to a 9950X or maybe a 9700X. Let me take a gander real quick and go on Amazon. Think I've seen them. Let's see. I'll take y'all with me in a moment, so y'all just have to stick around for what's going on. 9700X. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go back to the action screen. Got 9700X 8-core 16 thread for $317. Base speed at 3.8 gigahertz. Let's see. Yep, base speed at 3.8 gigahertz. DDR5 5600 support. Can deliver up fast 100 plus FPS. that's better. Got a cache size of 64 megs, 8 core 16 thread, AM5 socket, Windows 11 ready. Secondary cache would be L2. So it looks like it's got the 8 meg per. Base clock at 3.8 gigahertz. So cooler not included. Or I could decide to go up to, that's 317, but go up to a 9900X, that's a 12 core 24 thread. I kind of don't like even numbers like this. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, the Ryzen 7 9700X is 333.45 euros on Mine Factory. A 9950X is 700. Wow. This is a 9900X and it's at 382.55. Looks like it's got a base speed of 4.4. We got the 7900X for 326. 9700X for 500. 7700X for 270. Within the combo, we got 540, 465 for a 7950X, 9600X is $247. Wow, that's nuts. They got 7800X 3D on a refurbished price of $642. Wow. That's nuts. HP, no, hell no. You ain't gonna get me stuck in that noise. 5950X 16 core 32 threads. $315. Look at it this way, and I'm going to say it like this. If I decide to not switch platforms, but go up in processors, instead of me spending for a whole new platform, new processor, new RAM, I can still stay on this platform and use the 5950X and only pay $315 compared to spending for a whole platform, which could equal $600 to $700, depending on what motherboard I get, what RAM I get, what processor I get. You're looking in between $500 and $700. Do you have in USA 9800X 3D available? Well, let's take a look. Good question. And welcome to the channel, DJ Paxu. Let's see. You want to know about the 9800X 3D. Right now, it doesn't look like Amazon has it on their site. Let's go to Newegg. Go to Newegg. Let's check it out. I always look everywhere before I determine it. Um, not on doesn't look like you have any on Newegg. So let's go to Micro Center. Oh, well, hello from Poland. Welcome from California, USA. Welcome from California, USA, my friend. Let's see. Let's go to Micro Center. We're checking all the spots right now. Let's see. 9800 X3D. They have it at Micro Center for $480. They got it right here. For $480. And they got the listing of all the motherboards that you can get it with. And so on. But yeah, they got it right now in one spot that I can find over here in the USA for $480. So yeah, we still got access to it. But this is where you got to go in the store in order to buy it. This isn't an online buy. This is more or less you got to go into their store to buy it. So, yeah. But they got it. They sure do. But $480 is a little steep for me. I'm used to a processor costing between $130 and $160. Like the one I got, the 5700X, is only about $165 when I bought it. Now it's down to $130. So it is cheaper than Poland. Well, it depends on who you buy it from, truthfully. If you buy it from somebody here in the USA and they ship it over there, there's still going to be a shipping charge and all that. It's still going to be expensive. You know, so either way you look at it, you try to get around that extra cost. It comes back to bite you. That's the problem right now. So, yeah. Getting around that's going to be a tough deal. So, yeah. I mean, $480. And I'm sure you got the VAT tax and all that too, so. Let's see. 1900 PLN, they're selling CPU for $3,000. $738.05. Wow. They say the U.S. stocks up hardware right now. They're stocking up big time, especially for Christmas sales. Because manufacturers want to sell as many units as they possibly can before they have to pay off tariffs. See, that's the thing too, okay? Bro, I want you to understand something. They do a scare tactic for everybody to start buying. Okay? I'm going to state this again so you understand and you hear me live. I want you to really understand this. The first time Trump was in office, he did not enable tariffs. They were sitting on his desk. He never enabled the tariffs. Now, when Joe Biden came into office, he enabled the tariffs. Joe Biden. So it was Joe Biden that did all that nasty work. And they've been enabled ever since he first came into office. Now, right now, Trump is saying, yeah, we're going to attack you with more, tariffs. But he is using this as a tool. He is not using it to put it on everybody. He's using it as a tool. And I'm sure when he gets in office, he'll probably move things around and take some of those tariffs off if everybody plays nice. Again, it's a tool to bring more manufacturing back to the United States. So, I don't want you guys to worry too much about the tariffs because it's not really going to happen. This was just a scare tactic for these businesses to get those retailers to buy up more product than they need. That's all it is. And once the scare is over with, they're going to be sitting on more product than they need, and then they're going to end up having to sell it either at or below MSRP. Almost to the point to where how much they paid for it, they're going to have to sell it. So that's how much they're going to mark it down. So that's why I'm saying hold you guys' shirts, because what's going to happen is there's going to be too much product in these, like Amazon, Newegg, and Micro Center, and all these places that people aren't buying just yet because they're waiting for the prices to drop. Simple. But this 25% that he's going to tack on to China or Canada, this 25% he's going to tack on to Mexico, and 10% on China, he's just using it to get the border under control. He's using it as a tool to get the border under control. But we're not here to talk about the politics. I'm just here to tell you guys, don't worry too much about the tariffs. 9 out of 10 chances they're probably going to sit on his desk and he's not going to move on it. He didn't do it in his first presidency, and he's not going to do it in this. Not unless they piss him off, then that's going to happen. So yeah, that might happen. And about the scalpers, we all know if you go to eBay, they got them all day on eBay, and there's scalpers like crazy on eBay. So that's the reason why I don't mention eBay. There was an estimate the desktop parts will be 6.2% higher price because of that, and laptops are expected to be 40 to 50% more expensive, but I don't panic buy. I hope not. I can always fall back to CPU graphics. Look, if everybody panic buys, which they shouldn't, and I'm going to tell you all, you shouldn't panic buy. Because there's no panic. Because these retailers are overloading with goods. So they're not going to be short. So they'll have at least 6 months to a year's worth stocked up. So, and if they start charging, extraordinary prices, then that's not going to be the time to buy. You wait until they start lowering the prices before you decide to buy. And right now, the prices will go up because it is coming around the holiday. They go up, and then when they have like Black Friday or Cyber Monday, prices come down to where they were before, that they were a month ago, and then they go back up, and then they come back down. It's like a seesaw. Up and down, up and down, up and down. And when they say, oh, tariffs are coming, prices are going to go up, and then people are not buying, prices are going to go down until demand for the product goes up, prices come down. So there's no sense of panic buying. I mean, it's not worth it. If you got a PC that works already, you don't need to upgrade it, then just roll with it. I got 3 more years left on this one here before I decide to upgrade it. I made a what do you call it? I made it to where I have a PC that's going to last 5 years. And then after that, I will upgrade it. So. Hey, pseudoscientist, good to see you. Good to see you. You're not too late. You're getting there, but, not too late. I would pay $13.41 PLN tops for a 9800X3D, which includes $30 increase compared to what the 7800X3D sold already. Yeah. But for a 7800X3D, I wouldn't pay no more than $320, period. And the 9800X3D, I would pay no more than $365. I don't see paying $600 for a single processor is worth my time. Why would I do that? The most I would ever spend would be $350 on a processor. That is it. I can only back order an 9800X3D up here for about 670 CAD. Well, that's because you're in Canada, aren't you? Pseudoscientist, you're in Canada, I think, if I'm right. DJ, I have a great question. At August in Poland, we have a 7800X3D for 15 PLN maximum. Now it's 2300 PLN. Is the same situation in the USA? Yes. Yes, it's the same situation here. They went from $308 and jacked it up to what was it? Let's go back. Let's see, Amazon. We'll get back to it. Let's see, 70X3D. $641.99. While the 7900X is $326. I'll bring you guys to this. $326 for a 7900X. Right here. Combination. $800. 7900X3D, $580. You get to save $10 with 7700X. 5700X3D, almost $200. A 5700X3D on the same platform I am, this is AM4, is almost $200. And I got the 5700X, and it's cheaper than that. Let's see. Let's do a little comparison here. Let's go to the 5700X. And it's still at the same price. 5700X is still at the same damn price. 5700X3D is $196, almost $200. The 5700X is at $168. Same damn price when I first bought it. It's crazy. This price never changes. It did one time. I guess it was a special. They had it down to $130. But now they got it right back up again. So. Did we have similar situation in 10 years history that CPUs grow so much in cost like that? Yeah, pretty much. I agree. Yeah, they do. So is the 5800X any good for gaming? Well, I got the 5700X, and it's not bad for gaming. But if you want to go to like the 5800X, which is only 5% faster than my 5700X, for what price of $210 compared to $168. And the other one, the 5700X is 65 watts. This is 105. So, still the same amount of gigahertz. When it comes to the max, I got mine pushed at 4.8 gigahertz, 4.850 gigahertz. That's where mine's at. So, oh, you're looking at used prices? Well, when you start seeing used prices almost compared to new prices, you're going to be buying new over used. So unless you're going on like Facebook Marketplace, then yeah, it might be different. So let's see, it's 168. Let's see, let's grab the calculator real quick. Let's zero this out. Let's go 168 minus 210. So that's $42 difference. $43 difference. Is that worth the 5%? Divided by 5. No, it's not. Believe it or not, it's not worth it. Not for that 5%. Oh yeah, used prices are definitely out the water. They're definitely out the water. That's the reason why I don't even deal with used prices anymore. Is because you got nothing but scammers that are on eBay. You got other people that are on Jawa. They want an arm and a leg for everything. There are some people saying go to Temu. T-E-M-U. Temu. Go to there. Go to that site. T-E-M-U. Check it out. Like we can do that right here, and we can go to TEMU. And let's say you want to go to graphics cards. And look at there. You got, I mean, there's many sites you can go to find parts, whole PCs. You just got to do your shopping. I mean, depends on what you want. All depends on what you want. I shop from Temu too. Temu, not to be confused with Temu. Yeah, I know. It's just the way I say it. Maybe this 5700X3D will be good for me if in January will be still that still stuck in that CPU situation. Well, look at it this way. If you're only doing gaming, at 5700X3D, under some of the benchmarks I've seen, is going above the Intel 285K. Some of the benchmarks that from some all of the reviewers that are out there, I've went through 10 of them. And from what they're telling me, that the 5700X3D in some of the games will go higher than the 285K. Trust me, it will. So, if that's what you're looking for, then I'm sure that the 5700X3D will be something for you that you might want. You know, it could be. Intel Arrow Lake prices are a little high compared to their gaming performance, way high to their gaming performance. Maybe a non-K SKU will be a better price to performance ratio. Not if they charge like $400 or $500, dude. I'm being straight with you. I mean, if they're going to charge $400 or $500, then no, it's not going to be worth it. If they can keep the price below $200, yeah, it might be worth it. But a non-K SKU, and you can't do nothing with it. Especially in the BIOS. If you can't do nothing with your processor in that BIOS, there's no sense of actually dealing with that processor. So, you know, you have to see it the way I see it. You know, it's just outlandish. If the price is too high, just wait for the next generation. Yeah, but if you can't wait and you got somebody that wants something right now, they can either go and get a pre-built PC, which I don't recommend. Usually they can order it from China. They can go to what do you call it? I can't remember that site. But you can order it from China. Jeez, it's like so many damn sites I go through, daily. I just can't keep track of it all. It's crazy. Maybe you guys can remind me what that site is that they use for the China market. I mean, if that's something you want to do, AliExpress. Thank you, MTBK. Yeah, AliExpress. Because with AliExpress, you're dealing with the vendors. You just got to watch very carefully going through each of the vendors to get something that you want. Like, let's see if I can do this. Yeah. I'll take you guys back here. Like AliExpress right here. So, let's say graphics cards. They got a whole listing of whatever you want. The 6600M, don't touch them, because that's mobile processor. You don't want that. You don't want the 580. You don't want the 3060. Let's see. My hand will touch everything. Let's see. They got a 6800 XT. What? A 6800 XT. 16 gigabytes of VRAM. 162.53. Right here. Looks like a Yeston. Wow. So if you don't need a graphics card, but you're looking for a processor, you can type in here CPU combo. And you can type in, if you want Ryzen, if you want DDR, let's say DDR5, and see what combo they come up with. H610, DDR5, motherboard kit, a 12400F for $78. Wow. That's a Xeon processor. A 13's a little too expensive. Come on, where they got them? See, this is like you can shop for everything you want. You know, I don't know what's. They closed factory in Poland. They put a lot of money in there. They start to produce GPUs and they suck now. The CPU sucks for gaming. Also, so I don't know how or what to do about it. It depends on government. Well, how it ends. Well, maybe you're looking in the wrong spot when it comes to for your computer that you want to put together. Maybe it's the wrong spot you're looking in for Intel. You can also do is you can look in for, and let's say I want to put in AMD. I tell everybody like this. I gonna run over backwards for Intel. Okay, like this one here for $303. They got a 7500F with the motherboard, an MSI motherboard, 7500F for $300. That's cheap. And it's an MSI B550 or B650 M Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. Right here. That looks like a pretty good deal for that price. They got DDR5 Crucial 32 gigabyte kit for $100. I really wouldn't buy the RAM from China. Not my bag of tea. The RAM, the one things that you don't want to buy from China is the RAM or the SSD, solid state drive. Those are the two things you never want to buy from China. Never. Because you always get a little bit of what they call, if you saw that movie Little Shop of Horrors with Rick Moranis, that's about what you're going to get when it comes from China. So, Moore's Law is Dead says Intel might fail in going out of business. Yep, some people are saying it. That's if ARC doesn't sell. Their new ARC Battle Maze GPUs get reviews on December 12th. Yeah. So a scientist says even AMD is not looking well. No high-end GPUs, and AI is all research, no products. Yep, pretty much they're selling to the big businesses, but they're not selling to the gamers. The 1% loads frame per second are good thanks to energy cores. Energy efficiency cores, maybe, which they suck. I don't worry too much that Intel will survive. Maybe. There are already companies talking about buying them, so we already know what road they're going down. It's either AMD's going to buy them out or they're not. Simple as that. And if Apple buys out Intel, we're all done. You might as well forget Intel off of the board, because there's no way we're going to buy and spend, like for an Apple phone, you're going to spend close to almost $3,000. So I know we're not going to spend that kind of money on a graphics card. I already see the writing on the wall, you all. Meanwhile, Nvidia is doing great and nobody worries about Emperor CEO Jen Huang. Instead, everyone loves the leather jacket. Yeah, now they are. And pseudoscientist says Nvidia tries to go around China, the sanctions. Yeah, they do, for the GPUs. The hammer could come down, but in about 2 months' time, the hammer could be changing like this. Remember, they're changing the leader of the FTC as well. So that's going to change as well. So they're lifting restrictions. Trump's already going to be lifting restrictions. So this is why Nvidia is making a 4090 and a 4090D almost compatible with each other, because he knows the sanctions are going to be lifted. So that's what he's hoping for. Watch everyone buy the 5090 overpriced. Yeah. $2,500, you would say? Very overpriced. Huh. This one's for $172. A Maxon Terminator B650 motherboard. What's it come with? What's it come with? Comes with the Ryzen 7 7700 with two 16 gigabyte 6000 megahertz DDR5 RAM. Wow. And they're charged a $4.64 shipping charge. So $180, $181 to get a 7700, to get 16 gigabytes of DDR5 6000 megahertz and a Maxon B650M motherboard set for $181. That's sick. That can't be possible. That right there is almost the price of the motherboard I bought for DDR4. Because I paid $164 for my motherboard, and that's close to the price of the whole combo. I mean, that is the price of the whole combo, guys. I'd have to pay that just for the RAM. Yeah, I know. I mean, even if it's 16 gigabytes, you still got room for two more cards. I mean, you could get another 16 that's cheap of the same brand. Or you can get a motherboard. What is this? $20 off any orders over $139. Wow. Wow. Not bad. Not bad. Teabag. Not teabag. That's a 99 7500F. 9600X. Look at this. A 9600X. Whoa. I have to look. I mean, seriously. AMD new Ryzen 5 9600X. Oh, I ain't logging in, do you? $187.51. Wow. That's nuts. Guys, do you think there will be a CPU much better than the 9800X3D in the next 2 years? I'm thinking no. Good question. I'm thinking you might be right, because with that little discrepancy on TSMC that they're not allowed to sell anything below 3 nanometers, or anything below 5 nanometers or 4 nanometers, somewhere in there. I don't think there's anything in the future list for 3 nanometers. So I don't think they're going any smaller than this for a while. If they cannot get a 4090 or a 5090 that are made in China, anyway, It makes no sense. Well, that's because the United States put a limit on TSMC, telling TSMC they cannot sell any processors, any processors below 7 nanometers to China. That's what they said to TSMC, and they put a news article out about it. And I guess they had a video on it too. I think I read both. I read the one and I watched the other. That they said that China is not allowed anything below 7 nanometers. Period. I think it has something to do with Huawei or something like that. But now they're putting they're condemning everything on all companies that are getting things made from TSMC and them sending it over to China to have it fully produced and to send back to the United States. They're afraid they're going to steal the tech. And then they're going to copy the tech, and they're going to be able to do that ultraviolet light. I keep forgetting the name of it, but ultraviolet impressions or something like that. So they're afraid that they're going to steal the tech. And China just tried to produce a bunch of chips like that, and they screwed up the whole batch, and they had to throw millions of dollars away already. So it has to do with AI, drones, war, and copying tech. Yeah, I know. It's because the times we're in right now, there's no trust, no love to nobody. Nobody's got no trust, nobody's got no love, nobody cares. They just want war. On the other hand, here, I can tell you about 100% of the population don't want war. They'd rather be like a 1970, 1960 hippie sitting out on the lawn smoking a doob and being happy with it. So, yeah, that's pretty much what they want to be right now. Ain't nobody want war. Ain't nobody give no crap about what's going on. Everybody just need to crack a Coke and a smile. They need to go have a Coke and have a smile. So, yeah, there you go, MTBK. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it's what you deal with. And if you're looking for technology, you know, you can come to AliExpress. Not a sponsor, by the way. Look, $323 right here. 7600 X3D, $323. 7600 X3D. Let's see, this one. What's this one come with? This comes with the 5700X and DDR4, 3200, 16 gigabytes of RAM. For $69. Lower than the price of the CPU itself. The whole combination kit. Soyo motherboard. B550M with the Ryzen 5 5700X DDR4. Right here, the whole kit, $69. Super duper turbo silicon handcrafting. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, I mean, guys, all you got to do is do your shopping. I mean, shop around, see what you want. I mean, I come here once in a while to look and see what they got unless I miss something. But you know, I could order something for 50 bucks here, 40 bucks there. You know, when it comes to motherboards and stuff like that, like the 5600X for 177, you know, this doesn't look right. This one looks proper. You see, you can tell which is which. You know. Let's see. Let's go to number 2. Look at this. 9600X for $197. That's not a bad price. And that's not scalper price. And it says free shipping. Right here. Free shipping. It's always a good thing when they're sending it from China. Let's see. 7600X. 160 bucks. Same price as my 5700X. Wow. So, you guys get the idea. I mean, if you want to come over here and just, you know, binge all through this and see if you find something you really like, then, you know, I'm sure you'll find something that you really like. So, I mean, you never know. You might have some good luck finding something. But anyway, click thumbs up for our PC master. Well, I thank you for a thumbs up on that. I do appreciate it. And don't forget, every Saturday, 12 o'clock, right here. 12 o'clock, Pacific Standard Time. Uh-oh. Hold on. Okay. That's the call of the wild. Make 3D FX great again. Someone needs a ride. Yeah, how'd you figure that one out, pseudoscientist? Yep. Neighbors on the row. One needs a ride. So you know it's getting. I'm gonna have to break down the time here. So basically, I know you guys want me to stay on for longer, but you know, maybe later tonight I might come out and just do I don't know. Maybe I'll just do a live stream for the hell of it later on tonight. So, you know how it goes. But anyway, guys, yes, I do have to get out of here. So I do appreciate everybody that's joined in on the stream, and thank you for coming out today. Don't forget, on Saturdays from 12, I try 12 p.m. to 2 Pacific Standard Time. I try to do live videos every week. So make sure you all are here, and that way you know. So hopefully you're getting the notifications. I've been checking on my end to make sure the notifications been going through so everybody knows. Make sure you turn your notifications on. Make sure you put a like on the video, and also too, well, live stream, and make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Would be appreciated. You're welcome. You're welcome. hopefully y'all had a great time, and don't forget, maybe we'll do it later tonight. We'll see how things go. But we'll see you on the next video.